Well, I might as well call it my ranting and ravings for this morning here, but yeah, earlier this morning or after midnight, I was having royal conniption fits and issues that I just couldn't get past. I could ask myself, why am I feeling this stressed out over the homeless situation? Only because I'm trying to understand more and more about it. I know about my situation as I went through it. And because of that, I have a way of identifying with it. And because I do, it gives me a little bit of insight of what everybody else is going through. Right now, I'm just trying to do a little bit of computer cleanup. It's 8:17 in the morning. It's the 21st of August, 2024. So yeah, some of these things I'm posting a little late because well, things happening. It's still stressing me out regarding the homeless situation. I mean, if I'm feeling that well motivated, the question is, why haven't I been pursuing it a lot more? That's a good question on my part. That's a good question, and it still hasn't been resolved. I'm also watching a barricaded suspect in PCH. Around 1 o'clock last night, apparently PCH was going after a guy. Somehow in a scuffle, this guy had a Nobel warrant, according to news reports, and he's been racing around PCH until he got crashed alongside of a part of PCH. And now there's traffic in the neighborhoods are getting diverted, and they're pissed off about it. Neighbors are a little pissed off about it because of the traffic situation this guy has put Point Doom into. Certain residential areas become a bypassed area. Guys in a camper van having conniption fits, but they haven't got him out yet. Isn't that wonderful? Then I come across a news story concerning about the homeless situation that I wasn't aware of until now. A couple of weeks back, according to LA Times and a few other news sources, that there'd been a lawsuit filed. According to what LA Times had been reporting since August 5th, and I just pulled this one up. Uh, Headline reads: After a century of grievances, half a century of grievances, veterans housing demands on West LA VA campus to go on trial. So there was a hearing, on a site hearing of concerning about units being built or stalled out somehow. According to the story, after a month of hearing, a federal judge ruled in May, U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs discriminates against homeless veterans whose disability compensation makes them ineligible for housing being constructed on its West LA campus. Judge David O'Connor, U.S. District Judge, had earlier found that the VA has a fiduciary duty to use the 388-acre campus primarily for housing and health care for disabled veterans, casting doubt on the legality of leases that had turned over portions of it for sports facilities, oil drilling, and two parking lots. I was listening to some of it earlier this morning, and some of these veterans are pretty pissed off about it. That the Department of Veterans are trying to get more financial out of it. What's the financial incentive for taking care of disabled veterans as they're supposed to when they can get money off of sports facilities and oil drilling and parking lot fees? It's a non-jury trial that's going to be ending today. But the judge wanted to do a walkthrough. So they got the press following. And the judge wanted the press, apparently. He's not talking, but the press is still following. There got to be a civil lawsuit against the Department of Veterans Affairs on this one? Or a federal case on this one? That disabled veterans don't have a voice, and yet there was one witness being interviewed by KTLA, that some of these disabled veterans are addicts. They need special treatment dealing with the addiction issues. They don't have them. The housing, they would make more housing, but are they going to be making any programs to treat the addicted and the afflicted? Judge has got to think about that one. Judge has got to talk about that one. He's already talked to a couple of people about that one already. A lot of things happening. I know I went crazy this morning, past couple of days on that damn thing, because it got to me. It got to me concerning about this homeless situation nationwide being turned into Nimbys. Newsom was trying to whitewash it somehow. He was trying to tell people that, he wants the programs to help out, but they got to get out of the cabins first. Well, they're staying in the cabins because they don't trust. You got to earn their damn trust. But throwing them out and not into places where they can camp out, if they haven't got the facilities, why are you throwing them into the streets? That's what I do not understand. But because of the rulings that the Supreme Court of the United States had made regarding where homeless people can be thrown out of, has given the cities that incentive. They want to help them out with the programs, fine. But in order for the programs to work, they got to be thrown out in the streets. If they haven't got the facilities necessary to take care of them, you're really screwing up with the damn problem. But this is still a decision made concerning about Oregon Falls regarding it. Oregon had enough. So they made lawsuits out of the damn thing, and people try to fight back on it. They had to get the guy out. I was trying to make a smoke out of his camper, so now the Sheriff's Department already took the guy out. They got him arrested. Alright, that's enough of that. So, yeah, I'm a little bit tiffed concerning about the mistreatments here and their ability to do so. I know Bass has been trying. She's showing some effort of getting the homeless temporary assistance as it is, unless they get permanent housing. It's not, permanent housing would be nice, but you still have the mortgage and the rental situations to deal with in Southern California. Actually, in California, period. But in her own turf of city of Los Angeles, she's trying to do everything she can. And sometimes it doesn't seem like it's enough. But the way Gavin Newsom, he's getting sick and tired of the whole shit. Well, he's rich. I don't think the asshole's ever been poor. In fact, I don't think he's ever understood what the homeless situation is. He sees the blight on the outside. But does he understand the struggles on the inside? It's not hearing it from the people. It's walking it. It's living in it. It's seeing it through the homeless eyes. Through the addicts and through the displaced. They hadn't seen it. They don't want to see it. It's too much of a blight for the Nimbys out there. And the problem is, the Nimbys are supplying the homeless. Through their own misfortunes, through things happening in their lives, they become part of the homeless problem. And by denying services or by denying bond measures or anything else that might help ease the suffering on both sides. Well, played head games, and guess what? The head games didn't work, did it? That's why I still have a problem with them. A long time ago, I wasn't, I didn't care about the homeless a long time ago. Heard about something about it, didn't equate it. Heard about the train hobos. Heard about the romanticism of it, and then the reality of it. But wasn't equating in my head until I started seeing the homeless in person. And yeah, at first I had a revulsion. So when you start working with them, you don't even know it. That even just for a few days, one guy can actually make a difference. Even if they are addicts. The ones I worked with. At least a little food. Couldn't give them much money, but I gave them food. Because I needed to help them. But it got to the point where I couldn't. And when I started saying no just one time, it disappeared. I never saw him again. I wondered what happened to him. You know what the worst part is? When you start forgetting people's faces and names. Remember the events, but I never forgot what their names were and barely remember what the faces looked like. But for a short time, I tried to help. I really didn't understand. I didn't really understand the desperation of it until you actually walk in the shoes of desperation. And then you realize how hard it is. One thing trying to go through bureaucracies and food places to get a little assistance there. The bureaucracy, the paperwork. We need 24 to 98 this morning over here. Place of residence. Everything for your place of residence. Are you part of this community? I went through one food giveaway at a church. It was trying to keep track of everything that was being given out because the federal government demands that there's a lot of accountability regarding giving food away. And made more difficult is when you're not part of the neighborhood. See, if you're not part of the city there, who cares? Oh, one-time shot, but because you don't have a residency or proof of residency. Here's your food. Don't come back. And this was at a church. My brother and I were grateful for that one, though, because it helped out for about a month. What we stretched out, what we could stretch out. And we went to other food places and still gotten food from other places that could help us out. And it's hearing the stories from them made you really, I don't know, mixed emotions on this one. It got too close to home when one gets locked out by the sheriff's department. Talked about this one many times in my videos, but I still need to talk about it. I still need to remind people about it, that bad decisions can happen and produces this situation that one person could be in that it likes gloom and doom. It's like being in gloom and doom at this point. And it really got me pissed off about it. Frustrated, fearful, and not quite sure what to do about it. Almost coming to the place of being jailed. But because of the donations of strangers, and we still had a motel room that we could stay in for a night or two, take care of the dogs, we were okay at that point. But it was always the next day, or it was always the next minute. I was always afraid. I mean, yeah, I could watch other. I mean, I could use the motel's Wi-Fi, and then again, I had to use the motel's Wi-Fi because of the phone situation. When you're stuck on a budget, when you're stuck with limited funds, and you have to keep praying and pleading for more, it's, especially to keep a roof over the head. Even for about a month, waiting for another roof to open up. My brother's disability would be able to pay for another roof if we actually had the other roof. We had to hold on what we had because when it was time for us to move out of that motel room, we had used up a lot of family, friends, and favors to stay there just for the month, and the kindness of strangers. One person helped us out for about a week and a half of living under it, but we still needed transportation to get our stuff out of there and into the new place. And we actually had kindness of strangers for that one. And it was a relief that we actually been able to sign our names to a lease. Bug ridden and all, but still home. Wasn't always like this within the past 2 years. Within the last 2 years, I should say, I've been having the bug problems. Prior to that, wasn't worried about it. Just worried about taking care of my brother. Until he passed in 2018. And here it is, 2024. It's still home. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it, but other times it feels like it. And I feel like I'm holding on to it a hell of a lot longer and a lot tighter and harder because I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave a little bit of a remnant that I actually can feel part of my family, even as my big brother. Not the easiest thing for me to go through. I could yell and scream at people about it. That's not going to help much, is it? I can yell and scream and freak out about it as much. But I'm still dealing. I'm still trying to cope about this. I'm still trying to handle and process all of this. I'm prideful. I've got the self-reliance thing going on in me where I'm trying to struggle and do it by the best I can. And with the resources I can try managing, struggle of survival at this point. Emotional and physical. I'm not screaming and yelling at people saying, listen to me! Listen to me! I need your help! No, I'm arrogant. Sometimes I may be a bit vain at times. Or an arrogant cuss. Egotistical. Megalomania. I've had those. Think I know better. Think I am better. I think, therefore I stink. I can make little jokes about myself like that. In reality, some people look at me thinking, what's wrong with you? A lot of things. You want to spend a day, hear about my neurosis? I can make jokes about this. I can joke about it with a therapist at this point, but in reality, I'm just a guy with a bag of crazy cats going on his head. That's an expression I hadn't even heard in a long time. He's got crazy cats in his head. I can make fun about that one. I can put it on audio recording and just act like a complete blithering fool and idiot. And maybe I am a blithering fool and idiot. I mean, that's the thing. I can be. I think I am. Therefore, I feel I am. What else is new? Being scared and terrified on some occasions. Then other days I feel like I'm so damn at ease, it's not even funny. And then one day, or actually 1 minute, trigger time, and then I'm blubbering my head off because the trigger words, or something of a trigger, had gotten my mental instability on an uproar. And therefore, I gotta freak out. Therefore, I've gotta, therefore. I have to respond to this insanity going on. What do I do? Blame people for it? Do I start blaming the people for all this crap going on? I mean, seriously, am I supposed to be blaming people for this? Yelling, screaming, and freaking out and just stomping my... like, ah! I've got minutes before my therapy appointment and I'm doing this crap. And somehow I feel like I just want to throw up the Pop-Tarts I have for breakfast. Only because my blood sugar is going skyrocketing crazy at this point. And I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. All I want to do is go back to bed and sleep this day off. But no, that's the thing I have to deal with. That's the thing I have to deal with. So meanwhile, me being a complete blithering idiot right now as I wait for the appointment, I'm getting my computer set up for it. Maybe I'm a complete fool and idiot. Maybe I'm a bit of a jerk at this point. I don't know. I know I'm doing some things maybe not the best way or should have been. Maybe that's the thing there. So right now I got about 20 minutes left before my appointment goes. I get to deal with that, and then everything else will be fine. I guess some videos will be out there because I've got a legitimate complaint or something of legitimacy to talk about to people. There's a kid I keep coming across once in a while. Every time I do a Google search for something, I see this kid popping up over here. And he's trying to talk to people about his own issues of dealing with depression and everything else. I made a video long time, well, less than a week ago, a response letter to the kid. It's a young kid. He's a young kid trying to deal with trying to deal with crap he's going through. And right now he's going through depression. I kept thinking to myself, you're too damn young to have depression. Then I have to keep looking at myself in the mirror. I'm not too damn young. I'm way older than that. But the kid been diagnosed. They've been diagnosed. So he's doing whatever he can to do to take care of his depression. I'm doing what I'm doing right now, trying to keep it from being overwhelming. Yeah, I could try cleaning up this apartment, and then next thing I know, it's messy because I just used the damn thing. So I'll clean it up again and do a constant ritual because it's a way of doing it. I'm not very good at the damn ritual, but how about keeping a dog from peeing all over the damn floor? Pads, but then it gets expensive on that one. I know some people say, well, why don't you take the dog out? Let's say she's old, she's frail, and she only knows this place. She doesn't know outside very well because of her dementia getting to her. So I can use the argument on that one, saying that she's theoretically safer in here than she is outside. She can't see, she can't hear, so she can't obey commands. And if she gets out of control, I can't control her. Well, actually, if she runs away, I can't get a handle on her. So if she runs in this place, I can get a handle on her. No problem. Isn't it? I don't know anymore. Anyway, we'll talk about this later, I guess. I got video coming up.